up, my nigga, let's link up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Link Up. And today we got a very special episode, the first of many. I know you guys want to talk about hoops. I'm a real hoops fan. So, you see this face, you see my boy to the right of the screen, who I'm gonna introduce. We're gonna be talking about hoops. So, not to waste any more time, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce, his mama call him something else. The streets, they call him Ty. Baby Ghost himself, aka Tariq, Mr. T Rich, Ty Richardson, ladies and gentlemen.
What
All right, all right.
Great intro. Great intro.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, great guest, great guest. Uh, so we gonna jump right into it. Currently the NBA playoffs is going on. Last night we had a very interesting game. In the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder faced off in Game 6, in which we saw the Dallas Mavericks come back and beat them. You know, some may say a controversial foul call in the fourth quarter cost them the game. That's the way it ended. But for me, once they started mounting the comeback in the fourth quarter, Kyrie got going. The writing was kind of on the wall. And I remember, before the playoffs actually started, I said I got the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. Because once they made them trades at the deadline, I saw it coming. But what are your thoughts?
Uh, I could really say I didn't see it coming because Lucas style of play, but I think those trades at the deadline really helped that team mesh. Like they finally have dogs
Yeah,
within that lineup, and I think that made the complete difference in their team this year compared to other years.
me too. I mean, like for me, the real reason like I saw them going that far because Luca been missing this like since he really got to Dallas. He been missing like those dynamic bigs. You saw like in the beginning of the season it was just lively for a bit, and when he was on the floor, like they was great. Like he lob threat at the rim, on the boards. So then you go out there, you get Gafford, which is the same thing, more experience. Then PJ, who could kind of do 3-point shooting, and he fit way better than Grant Williams in my opinion, and clearly. So I feel like then you got Kyrie. I feel like even though Luca wants to do so much, there's ways of him not being able to do so much. And in this series, he was beat up, banged up a lot, being defended by Lou Dort. So I just felt like they, like him having those teammates at his accessibility in this series really helped him get over the hump.
Yeah, I seen something different from Luca in the fourth quarter that I've seen from him in previous years. Normally he plays hero ball,
Yeah.
especially in the fourth quarter. And PJ Washington didn't hit a shot pretty much the whole game, and he kicked him out to the corner. One shot he hit, and then the other shot. All right, but yeah, it was a confrontational foul call, which by the letter of the law, yeah, SGA did block it, but he regathered it, and once he regathered it, he had his hand on the arm, which is a foul. But if he would just released it, it would have been a no call. So, in live play, it kind of looked controversial, but once you see the video, it was clear foul. You hate for it to end like that, but it was a foul.
Yeah, and I mean I agree. And Shea said after the game he agreed too. He wasn't really against the officials. Um, you know, uh, we'll get to OKC in a minute, but going back to Dallas with the pieces around Luca right now, with him, you know, you starting to see him dial it back a little bit, trusting in his teammates a little bit more. What do you think the ceiling is for this team?
It kind of depends on the matchup. I see If they play Denver, it'll be more of a challenge because Denver know what their strength is are. It's
Mm-hmm.
the 1-5 pick and roll, and if it's close in the fourth quarter, they're gonna run until you can't stop it. With Timberwolves, I feel like they have a better shot uh, based on experience. And I think the Timberwolves team is probably be more complacent just to get that far, other than Ant,
Yeah.
because like he said, he got what 9 more to go. I think he said. So I mean not 9. Yeah, 9 more to go.
Yeah, 9.
So it's like he already counting the ring on his finger. But I think they would have the upper hand when it comes to experience.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I feel like I agree because I feel like to like Dallas has Gafford and Lively like positional wise they can match up well with Joker, but like who are we kidding? Like they really can't do nothing.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
the defensive player of the year is looking, you know, baby, so who
Yeah.
knows? Unless they really play out of their mind, I just don't see them stopping that. And then same
No.
thing with Murray on the other end. Who gonna really guard Murray? I know you got Darius Jones Jr., but they probably Denver has so much size
Yeah.
that like it'll be a difficult matchup. But I can see the Wolves matchup like depending on who win tonight, and we're gonna get into that in a few minutes. But depending on who win tonight, I can see the Wolves like actually taking that series because like I feel like defensively like they have size and they have longer wings to where they not gonna stop Luca or Kyrie, but they can go toe to toe with them, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But on the other side of this game, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder, man. As a surprise to many, they was number one in the Western Conference this year. Had the runner up in Rookie of the Year, had the runner up in MVP. Jalen Williams, he was on the list for Most Improved. So and then you had Gordon Hayward, off the bench, who
Gordon who?
said
Oh,
Gordon
Hayward. Okay.
Gordon
Gotcha.
Hayward,
Gotcha.
after the game, he was asked about the series. He only played 46 minutes in this whole series and scored 0 points. And he came out and said that it didn't go as it was expected, as he expected it to go. So my question to you is, with all that being said, P Giddy, all that stuff being said, where does the Thunder go from here? Do you see that? Do you think they can reach that next level? Like, what is your opinion on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
I just want to say I might need a new CD because I never seen Gordon Hayward in this whole series. But nah, to be real, uh, they have the makings of a top team for a while. I feel like they missed their opportunity at the trade deadline because
Yeah.
they have a boatload of picks, cap space, and they could have got a big
Hmm.
or another wing because Holmgren is smaller than me. So he's not going to guard the bigs that you need in the Western Conference. Like, you have to match up against Joker,
Right.
point blank, period. So I think Holmgren being able to move can slide to the floor at times, and you need a big in your closing lineup because I think they got rebounded by 15, 20 last night, and it showed that you needed the extra talent that Dallas went and got at the trade. That was the difference.
Right.
So they're set up for the future, but I really feel like they missed their window in a sense this year because nothing's ever given guaranteed.
Yeah.
You one injury away from being the lost year. I mean, look at these playoffs in general. You
Yeah.
had Giannis go down, you had Dame go down, Jimmy, Joel. It's nothing guaranteed. Look at the Knicks. I mean, we're gonna get into that, but they're barely making it to the game at this point. So it's a war of attrition. But like I say, going forward, they'd be all right. But I really feel like they could have at least got to the Western Conference Finals this year.
Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna call myself the master of predictions, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Thunder are gonna be the most interesting team this offseason, and they might so far as to have the best offseason this summer. The reason why I say that, they got a like almost unlimited amount of draft picks, so they could take a center in this draft. They could use the draft picks to trade for a center. I'm just saying. I heard Jared Allen out there on the trade block, maybe. So
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
yeah,
Uh, it looked like Valanciunas is leaving New Orleans Pelicans. Probably you could probably get him to come off the bench, maybe. And I'm not gonna lie. Uh, you know, I don't know how they would do it, but I've been thinking this the longest time. Like a lot of people forgot about Zach LaVine, but I could see them maybe flipping like a Giddy or somebody for Zach LaVine. I feel like he could be that piece next to Shea in the backcourt. That'll be give him another shot creator, because this whole series, like, they struggled offensively, and that boy Levine, like, he not gonna hesitate, and he ain't gonna be left open like they did Giddy. So it's
that's true.
almost like they'll have like a more athletic, uh, more shot ready, or more prolific scorer than Isaiah Joe if you put Zach Levine there. So,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree with that.
that's my little tidbit. We're gonna see if my predictions come true. But staying in the West, man, we got a big game 7 tonight. Set the tip off at 8. The Denver Nuggets hosting an up and coming Minnesota Timberwolves. Has been a great series thus far. Last year after getting dropped off in the first round, clearly the Timberwolves kept that on their mind. They said that they felt like they had the best competition against the defending champs last year. So in your head, where do you think who do you think takes this series tonight?
This is the classic case of my heart over my mind. My mind is telling me Denver. My heart is with Ant Man.
All right.
But uh,
I
I
ain't think we was
think,
gonna get T Kelly on this on the pod today.
but no, I just kind of like what Ant represents, his confidence.
Oh yeah.
Uh, you don't see that from a lot of players, especially this young. I like to see him keep going, but it's hard to pick against Joker in the game 7. So I got the Nuggets, and I kind of feel like the moment would be too big for the role players for the Timberwolves. Like, I have no doubt that Ant Man's going to show up,
Yeah.
but I'm concerned about the role players. One thing about Denver, every role player knows their role. They come in whatever they needed to do. They don't try to do too much. They're going to play exactly how they need to play. And if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, I got Denver.
Yeah, I mean, like for me in this series, I feel like because Denver never really got too deep into their bench, like the Timberwolves bench has like definitely been uh outdoing the Nuggets, because like you got the reigning six man of the year Nas Reed coming off. Sometimes he defending Joker and going at him. You got Alexander Walker, giving them good minutes. Um, Kyle Anderson, and just they got more options as far as like depth. So like I feel like if it does get into that, the stars canceling out each other, it'd be interesting to see. Um, for me, I think Denver takes this game just off the fact they're at home. They've been in this situation before. They got the reigning MVP. They the defending champions. They done had a couple of days rest, like, for Jamal Murray to get back right. So
Yeah,
I just feel like they gonna adjust. And one thing about Mike Malone, even though when he get drunk he start talking crazy, but he a great motivator. So
yeah,
he know how to unlock his team and get them to play, to their peak potential. So Like for me on that side, I just think like when it gets down to the nitty gritty, the Nuggets are gonna be able to come out on top.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like the Timberwolves' best shot is to jump on them and have a at least close to a double digit lead
Hmm.
because in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, yeah, Minnesota has the depth, but that doesn't matter at this point. As long as there's no foul trouble, no injuries, your five versus their five, it's hard to stop that 1-5 pick and roll with Jokic and if Porter Jr. hitting threes, KCP hitting threes, going to give you a three or two.
Yeah,
Like it's hard to stop that.
most definitely. They definitely the defending champs for a reason.
Yeah,
Looking over on the other side in the Eastern Conference, they also got a game 7 going on between the Knicks and the Pacers. Now, this game is set to take off in a matter of minutes. You know, we're recording right before this. It's going to be at MSG. Woj came out earlier and said Hart and OG Ananobi is gearing up to hopefully play despite injury. Um, Seeing the way this series has gone the past couple of games, it seems like Indiana has the momentum, but because the Knicks still bruised and battered, they're gonna try to give it all a go. Who do you think takes this series?
this is the one series I probably watched them all my life where I couldn't tell you who's going to win. It's been so unpredictable.
Yeah,
I mean, games 1 and 2 pretty much blowouts. They go back to Indiana, games 3 and 4 pretty much blowouts. Game 5 back at MSG blowout. Last game blowout. So it's like one of them things. Whoever comes to show up and they jump on them early, I feel like they can ride that wave and possibly come out top. The only thing about the Knicks, playing in Madison Square Garden is magical this time of year, so that might give them the upper hand. But they're the walking wounded right now, so
yeah,
it's hard to even pick them. You know, I really want them to play the Celtics, but just on sheer numbers and depth, I'm roll with Indiana on this one.
yeah. I mean, like before this series started, I remember like having conversations about it, and like to me, I always thought like whoever wins the point guard battle, like
Mhm.
between Brunson and Halliburton, that's who gonna end up, taking the series. And right now it's like Brunson been going crazy because he doesn't have all of his options there with him. But to me, it's been like from a point guard standpoint, it's been pretty evenly matched as far as impact.
Yeah,
Because like Halliburton may not score as much, but he dishing the ball. You know what I'm saying? Controlling the flow of the game. So from that standpoint, like that's what I'm looking for, in today's matchup. Like who wins the point guard battle? Because it's up to the like we know. Like put it this way, if Brunson, well, if they cancel each other out per se, it is up to the role players to step up. But we seen at the end of games, like in the first round series, like with 76ers, it was Brunson who was putting, going crazy in the fourth quarter. It was Halliburton going crazy in the fourth quarter against the Bucks, putting that away. So I expect a close game today, and then whoever wins that battle is who takes it. I'm gonna go with the Knicks. I just feel like because they've faced this type of adversity on the past couple of seasons, like they actually been in the playoffs. Whereas Indiana and Tyrese Halliburton, this their first playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Knicks, and they at MSG, but I do expect it to be close.
that'd be good for a change. We need a
Yeah,
close game in the series.
yeah. But as far as what waits on the other side, it's not looking too good, man. I mean, the Boston Celtics, they got rid of the Cavaliers in 5.
Yeah.
And, the majority's picked to win the championship this year.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on the Celtics? And, does Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown finally get that championship? that they've been so craving this season.
I really feel like it's championship or bust at this point because you have Jalen Brown already making 300 million. Tatum will be making 300 million this summer.
Extended Porzingis, Holiday.
Exactly. So you put all your chips in the middle of the table. At this point, there's no excuses. No matter who you face in the next round, you should beat them. In the West, your true competition is Denver.
Yeah.
If Dallas comes to town or Minnesota, you still have the upper hand. Clearly, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what talent level is over there, you have the experience, the talent. You have a proven champion in Drew Holiday. You have all the pieces. So if it doesn't work this year, what possibly can you do better? You really ran to the regular season. So next year, the regular season won't matter to you. It's like where do you go from here? So at this point, there's no excuses. You literally just you have to go get it.
Right. I mean, for me, do I think they can do it? Yes. My only concern about it is like Haslam when he was on ESPN, he made a good point. He got a lot of flack because former Heat player, and us Heat people, we don't like the Celtics at all.
At all.
But he made a good point. Like they really haven't faced any significant adversity throughout this whole run, and then during the regular season when it came to like those close games and they was in the clutch and they was going to Tatum, like he wasn't really getting it done as much as like you would like to see. And then you do that, and then you like as terms of like their record in the past couple of years on like a playoff record at home versus on the road, it's something that you could be concerned about. Like, yeah, they got like home court advantage for the playoffs, but say they beat Denver. Denver come in there, you know, still 1 or 2 games in Boston. It's gonna be tough to go up to Denver and try to beat them in Denver. And then also, I feel like we know in the clutch what Murray and Jokic gonna give us, but we seen in the clutch like Tatum and Brown, if they don't have it going that night, the offense really like stalls out and they start doing ISO, a lot of 3-point shooting. Like, so I'm interested to see where do they go as far as like if the games are close, if they down in the series, real competition that like because I feel like we seen it in the 2 games that they lost throughout the playoffs. The Heat and the Cavs get hot from three or hot from scoring, and the Celtics can't make no threes. That's a bad game, and I feel like with a team like Dallas, Denver, even the Timberwolves, if they get hot like from a scoring aspect, and the Celtics can't, like it ain't gonna be no one time thing. That's really what those 3 teams are predicated on, like scoring the basketball to the highest degree.
Yeah, but this is still another one I say they don't have an excuse. With the pickup getting a Drew Holiday, granted they need Porzingis to be healthy too, but a Drew Holiday pickup, you can literally put him on one guy, and everybody else's responsibility is help defense and on offense do your job. Most other teams still left in the playoffs rely on one player or 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum and Brown can have a bad games, and they can still blow you out by 15, 20.
Right.
Because Derek White can get hot and get 30. Porzingis come back, can get 30. Nobody can guard him. He probably can't guard nobody else, but nobody can guard him either. So it's like you literally have everything. And that one weakness is, you would probably say, the bench. But I've seen games where Hauser is going crazy from three and Pritchard is going crazy from three. So your bench is not as bad as people make it. You just have to, it's no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Hopefully they don't get it done. I love to
I
see.
mean, as a Celtic hater,
Yeah,
I would love for them to lose,
definitely.
but this is the year for them to get it done.
Yeah. They got to, because if not, Tatum extension coming up, they're gonna be pretty much locked in, and we see all these teams on the rise, the Pacers, the Knicks, everybody getting better. So it
Mm-hmm.
definitely, but we talked about Tatum, we talked about Ant, talked about SGA, Luca. There's been a topic of discussion who once LeBron retires, who's going to be the next face of the league? Uh, who do you think? You got Wemby out there. We haven't mentioned Giannis and Jokic still around as current and former MVPs. Embiid, Jalen Brunson. Who do you think will be the future face of the league?
Man, I don't know if you heard him, but it's a guy up there in the mountains in Minnesota
Mm-hmm.
named Ant Man. Ant Man has showed in these playoffs he's next up. He has the talent and the personality to be the face of the league. And this is the first person I can say since probably Kobe that doesn't give you the political answer. He's gonna tell you exactly what he feels. LeBron's been the face of the league for years. You put Steph Curry up there, KD up there, and they don't always tell you how they feel. They say the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And it's going to tell you exactly how he feel. When he lost, I think it was game 5, he said it was on him.
Mm-hmm.
I came to play, you know, lackadaisical, no energy. The reason why we lost is me. Most players will blame the coach. The fans didn't show up. Everybody but them. Oh, the concession stand food wasn't hot enough. Is and is that dude. And don't let him get to a conference finals or possibly NBA finals this year. Because Timberwolves in that same position of just getting better.
Oh yeah, most
Draft
definitely.
picks, a lot of people made jokes about the Rudy Gobert trade, the 4 or 5 first round picks, but
It's paying off.
paying off defensively, number one defensive team.
Mhm.
And when you have your best player picking up the other team's star player 94 feet and still dropping 40, who all do that? Not too many people can do that.
Yeah.
So, you go from, I'm not going to go way back, but we're going to start with Jordan and the Kobe's and LeBron. He's the next player I see that does it on both ends, no
Yeah,
matter
I
what.
I definitely agree. And like my whole thinking is like say the Wolves beat the Nuggets tonight in 1 year, he would have knocked off the MVP in Jokic, Jamal Murray, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. You know, 4 of the 5 have been All Stars. So then, like, if they do make it to the finals, knocked off Luca and Kyrie.
Hmm.
If they win, we just gonna put Boston in there.
Yeah,
Knocked off Tatum and Brown, Holiday and Porzingis.
yeah.
He definitely in there. But another person, well, 2 things. One, I'll say it's so interesting to me because if you would have asked me this 3 years ago, I would have said Ja Morant. But because everything going on with him, because literally he got the same attitude, when he play, he want it, but it's the things off the court. And like, for Ant's sake, I hope like, the off the court stuff he can keep kind of like to a minimum to where he could just people just know him for hooping. Also, it does help, like even though he's like for his Adidas shoes, them jumps kind of fire. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
But and then the other thing I wanted to say, I also think it depending on Wimby's health, I feel like it could be a shared spot from the standpoint of and it's the same thing with Wimby kind of, but he just in a situation right now where his team not that good, but we heard him say, "I don't like losing." We see him putting up crazy numbers. If he can stay healthy, and those two in the West, like that's gonna be those two can definitely be up there for the long, like for a long time as far as face of the league.
Yeah, I mean, Wimby's in my top three. It just I feel like he's maybe 3 to 4 years out from really challenging as far as top spot in the West. So
Hmm.
that's one thing that knocks him down for me. But if you we talking about right now, I see Anthony taking the crown right from LeBron, like right now.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, speaking
And
of
the NBA needs that.
huh?
Yeah, I said the NBA needs that.
Oh yeah,
You know.
most definitely. Like I ain't see Jordan play. I'm too young, but from what they described and from what I seen from him, yeah, he seems like that guy. But you mentioned LeBron. We just saw the draft lottery. Atlanta Hawks got first pick. You know, we've been seeing things about the draft combine, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's a kid, eligible to be picked. His name Bronny James. He related to some guy in the NBA. There's back and forth debates. Should he go first round, second round, undrafted? What is his ceiling? What is your thoughts on Bronny James as a potential NBA prospect?
From what I've seen, he doesn't look like first round NBA material. Possibly second round, spend time in G League, develop. But I think a lot of pressure been put on him because, of course, who his father is,
Yeah.
and also because the things that his father has said. Now, on one hand, you have to commend him for being a black man, being there for his kid. But on the other hand, certain things you just can't say. One time he said that his son was better than some of the players playing around in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's true or not, you can't say that. Because now he has a target on his back. So while he's playing in college, that's the motivation for somebody else playing across from him. And it's like, your dad said you better than the NBA players. Let me show him or show the world that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And that's just unnecessary, pressure.
You know what this remind me of? And I'm gonna start off by saying LeBron and LeVar Ball are nothing alike. I repeat, LeBron and LeVar Ball are nothing alike. But I remember Lonzo on his way to the NBA when he was at UCLA, and it was the same thing. Like his dad was just hyping him up, like he better than this person, that person. He gonna be better than Steph. And then like game one, was it game one or it was preseason? Pat Bev picking him up full court. Like I just feel like it's gonna be one of them things. And unfortunately, Lonzo is a good player, but he wasn't able to reach the heights of like a number two overall pick. But because he had so much pressure, unfortunately his body broke down in injury. We really didn't get to see him achieve the heights at which his dad was alluding to. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's my fear for Bronny. And then like me, this is just my opinion. I don't even think like he the best like sibling. I think Bryce is better. Like from
Mm-hmm.
what I've seen, I know some people feel otherwise, but I just like I want him to succeed because I feel like it sucks because he at a disadvantage already. But like as far as going the first round, it's like I don't know. But you never know. It's been people picked. It's been undrafted people picked in the second round who went on to be, you know, great NBA players. So
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
going back to the ball take, it was similar pressure, but for me the difference is the Ball brothers kind of worked their name up to be who
yeah,
they were. Then their dad jumped in. They was like top number one player in the country or top 10 in the country. A lot of people feel like Bronny literally is where he at because of his father.
yeah,
So there's rumors that came out recently that he wasn't even supposed to be in the McDonald's All American game, and the reason why he was in there is because of his father. So it's one of them things. Yes, LeVar Ball pushes kids to the front, but it was one of the things he also said. My first son is good. My second son should make it to the NBA too, but it's the last son that's going to make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, LaMelo has been dealing with injuries lately too, but if you look at what he said,
It's
he
true.
was absolutely right.
Yeah.
For
Hey,
an
he,
injury, LaMelo's a problem.
oh yeah, he definitely that. Uh, but we uh speaking of the draft, sorry, Atlanta Hawks got the number one overall pick. It's a lot they could do. Um, we heard plenty of times that this might be the weakest draft in some memory. Uh, but we got the Trey Young trade rumors going on as well. What are your thoughts on Atlanta's position right now? Do you think they tear it down, rebuild, retool? Do you see Trey Young or DeJounte Murray leaving? What are your thoughts on that situation?
They definitely need to break up that backcourt. Not sure for what and to who, but that backcourt's not going to get it done in the Eastern Conference. You pretty much have two undersized players. I think DeJounte is like 6'4", 6'5", but he's not big. Um, in the way the offense is going now, where bigs are initiating the offense and there's a lot of switching, a lot of pick and roll, their defensive liabilities. And DeJounte's not a good shooter. It just that experiment ran its course. I'm not sure they're gonna get what they got for him. I mean, traded for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think trading Trey Young will be better, possibly to a team like the Lakers or somebody that wants a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely need to break that up.
Like going back to what you said about as far as like now bigs, are bringing the ball up the court, doing a lot of things where they starting like the big man is starting to be reintegrated into the game again. Like that whole small ball wave is low key starting to deteriorate. You know, potential number one draft pick Alex Sarr, he get compared like he from France. He get comparisons to Jaren Jackson Jr. Um, I'm not. Are you familiar with his game?
Not much. I try to look at a highlight, but not too familiar with it.
I was gonna say he seems like the consensus number one overall pick, so that could be maybe a guy like they build around, and I could see them trading like Capella and DeAndre Hunter and just restarting because they got some good young pieces in like Jalen Johnson and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's to be seen. I It just sucks because like when Trey Young got drafted and they did the switch with him and Luca, it's like it was kind of like me. I was like, dang, y'all should have just took Luca. And don't get me wrong, Trey was going crazy in Oklahoma, but Luca, like everybody was sleeping on him, but he seemed like head and shoulders over like DeAndre Ayton, Bagley, all those guys, and clearly that is the case. So you know,
I mean, in hindsight, yeah, but I think at the time, for what those two players represented, it was the trade that needed to happen.
yeah,
I couldn't right now. I couldn't see Luca in Atlanta, like just the atmosphere. Like that's not Luca, and it was kind of perfect that they went from a European All Star,
and
Hall of
Dirk,
Famer, champion, and
yeah.
go into a new era with another All Star, European. Still determining what he's going to do, but it was just a perfect setup.
It's like, yeah, I just like I was saying that to say like basically I feel like Trey always gonna be tied to that trade. So it's
Yeah,
kinda it's unfortunate. And
yeah,
like, he's definitely limited as far as like on the defensive end, but he's still like a good talent. Now, can he be number one, number two option on the championship team? Is yet to be seen. I don't know, but we'll see what the future holds for Trey. Also in trade rumors, a man by the name of Donovan Mitchell.
Spider.
I know. I'm just gonna say it now. Donovan Mitchell, if you hear this podcast, we got everything you want and need in Miami. Just hit me up. I'll make it happen. I personally,
Facts.
like I said on the first podcast, I'm saying it now. I will personally come pick you up from the airport. But yeah, like we've been hearing a lot of conflicting rumors. Will he extend or sign his extension, or won't he? They said he was frustrated with his teammates. He came out and called it cap. Do you see a situation in where he stays in Cleveland long term following this season?
I kind of feel the same way I did about the Atlanta backcourt, which I feel like Cleveland is going to have to make a decision between him or Garland. Defensive limitations. They have a good young core, but I feel like those two they won't mesh going forward. Not something I heard, but just watching their two games, it doesn't really pair together, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um, so I feel like if they're not going to trade Mitchell, they're definitely going to trade Garland, and vice versa. Now, as a Heat fan, I'm biased to say I want them to trade to us,
yeah, and
but there's different teams that's going to be in play. You got a Brooklyn, you got the Knicks with cap space, draft picks. So it's really up to Donovan. I think he has until July to pick up his extension or say that he's going to
yeah,
stand with him.
July 6th.
If he doesn't, a lot of things are going to move fast and very quick.
As a Miami Heat fan, definitely would love Spida here, and that's no shade to anybody on the roster. I like our team, but this team cannot stay the same for one more.
No,
Yeah, we're gonna
I
get
think
into
that
that.
40. I think that 45 jersey would be real tough.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna need me one of those day one. But but like as far as the other options, this how I feel. Like, well, the teams rumored to be interested. You got the Lakers, which to me, like their package would potentially be Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and two draft picks and a pick swap, or two
Oh,
pick swaps.
we can beat that.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like outside of like the only thing that's compelling is the draft picks post LeBron era. Like that's what I'd be interested if I'm Cleveland. You know, I
Yeah,
like Rui as a fit like on the wing, but as far as compared to the other offers for Brooklyn, they could offer something like Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then a bunch of picks. That like
yeah,
I don't know. Then you look at the Knicks, which is, he want to go there. He from, you know, uh, there, but then they can offer something like Julius Randle, and you probably might have to throw in a McBride, uh, probably a Precious, and then picks. To me, like as far as that situation, it would be very interesting to see because him and Brunson are both undersized guards, so. And then like it'd just be interesting to see. And then you already got DiVincenzo and Hart who play bigger than they are, but they still like on the smaller side. Ananobi, he played power forward, but he's still like undersized four in the way the league is heading. So that'll be interesting. And then you get to Miami offer, the offer that everybody, is my mama might watch this, so I can't say what I want to say. But everybody is dumping on.
mm-hmm.
Uh, you got potential Tyler Hero, Jaquez, which I like. Me personally, I feel like as far as fit, Jaquez would fit great in Cleveland, like from a wing
Hmm.
perspective,
Yeah.
and then Jovic, say you are getting rid of Mobley or Jared Allen, as a future, he can slide in, and then like they also have three first round picks to give. I feel like as far as fit of all the packages we named, I can see like those three players fitting in Cleveland with Garland, with Mobley, like a little bit better. But Cleveland is in charge of what they want. Um, and that's if Donovan doesn't sign. If he does, I don't see Darius Garland back there next year. Like personally, I also think it's ran its course on the too big lineup experience. I feel like Mobley and Allen, they just don't really play well together.
Hmm.
Like in both instances where they both were hurt for a stretch in the season, the other one played better when the other one was out. So I feel like they got to make a decision there. But it all depends on what Mitchell wants. Like, does he want money? Does he want stability? Does he want to win? Like, depending on what he wants, it'll be interesting to see what they can get him because I could see like they're interested in getting Brandon Ingram from the Pelicans. Is that really going move the needle if you get rid of a Jared Allen or a Darius Garland? I don't think so, but
Yeah.
you know change of scenery for Brandon Ingram, you never know. But I feel
Yeah.
like he at that point in his career, he kind of is who he is. Uh, but yeah, I'm not sure where Cleveland goes from here because I feel like because they've been in the playoffs the past 2 years, made the play in, three years ago, they would want to stay competitive instead of trying to rebuild again.
Yeah.
So that situation is very interesting to me.
Yeah. It's gonna be a very interesting summer between a few teams.
Yeah, definitely. And one of those teams, as we alluded to, we both Heat fans, got a lot going on. Our Miami Heat, eighth seed for the second season in a row, play in for the second season in a row. Granted, Jimmy and Terry was hurt, but we pretty much done ran the same roster back 3 seasons in a row. You could probably count the all the years that Jimmy been in Miami. The roster outside of year one pretty much been the same.
Let's say five. The last
Yeah.
5 years. And
So
Corey's been there.
Jimmy wants his extension. Now I said on the first episode of my podcast that they should extend him, but given the answers that Pat Riley gave at his exit meeting, it doesn't look like right now that'll be the case. So my question to you is: will Jimmy Butler be in a Miami Heat uniform this season, upcoming?
Most definitely. There's no other way around it. You know, unless you just tell us you're tanking this year
Oh yeah,
for
no,
cool
they not
flag.
gonna do that.
That's not the Heat.
Yeah,
So Jimmy has to be there. Now, there's definitely need to be changing. Y'all can't bring the same team.
no,
You know, I'm an advocate for letting Hero see the airport, but that's just me. But you definitely can't run it back. It's run its course. The quarters team, Tyler, Jimmy, Bam, has been together all these 5 years. You got two NBA finals,
mm-hmm,
three conference finals.
mm-hmm,
This Pat said that he looks at things in 5 year increments, and this is the fifth year.
yeah.
Um, so something has to be changed.
Man, this conversation is a tough one, man. Like, I'm not a hero apologist, but I'm one of those people let hero first year performance and the comments that he say talk them out of what they what he is versus what they expect him to be. Now I remember he came out and said he wanted to be in a conversation with Luca and Trey. I
Don't forget
never,
Jason Tatum.
yeah. See, I wasn't under the belief that he would be any of that because, like, just his build. He got negative wingspan at best. I always thought he was gonna be like a Devin Booker light. Like that was just my expectations on him. Now, we heard UD come out and say, obviously, we've had conversations where you feel like he should just embrace that six man of the year role.
This
Um, but I don't know. Just a part of me feels like, now I'm not saying, you Boston fans who might watch this, I ain't trying to hear it. I'm not saying we would have beat Boston, but if everybody was healthy, I feel like he would have had a way better series off the fact that Duncan, Terry, and Jimmy as scoring options would have took pressure off of him. But but I feel like this playoff series proved a lot. Like it showed clarity on a lot of things going forward as far as this roster. Like he's not a first option. I don't think he's a second option. Questionable third. Jaquez and is a legit contributor. Jovic, I think he's on his way. I'm a big Jovic fan. If anybody I could choose to keep minus Bam, it's him. So I just feel like we in a situation now, they definitely need to change, but what are their options? Obviously Spider's at the top of that list, but if he stays, then what? Trey Young? I don't think it's gonna be I don't think that it's just like he would solve things offensively, but then the team would still be small. I personally feel like they should draft a point guard and a center in this upcoming draft. People say Zach Edey. I don't think unless he proves something like when he do his workouts, I don't think he would be a good option just based off of the way the Heat play. But
yeah.
you never know. You got it's a lot of things to get into, man. This team very frustrating. They've been the same. There was some bright spots. I think you bring back DeLon Wright, but uh, I don't know. I don't know where they go from here.
It, like Pat said, and I think Udonna said, the first thing they got to do is get healthy.
Yeah,
Um, I don't want to sound like a Tyler hater because I like Tyler. I have a Tyler Hero jersey, but the problem is the three deep finals runs, or kind of Eastern Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, he was a bench player. There are stats that show that the offensive rating and the defensive rating is the worst when Tyler, Jimmy, and Bam is on the floor together. Duncan was the perfect complement, especially when he's making shots, because he doesn't need the ball in his hand. Jimmy needs the ball. Tyler needs the ball. Neither one of those ones are catch-up shooters. Tyler doesn't want to be a catch and shoot
he could be great if
person.
he
And
did.
he could be great at it.
Yeah,
Jimmy is not, even though his three-pointer has improved. So you have a spacing problem. But when Tyler can come in with the twos and do what he wants,
he better.
and then you put him in the closing lineup when you just need somebody to go get a bucket, it works. And you don't have people just standing around wondering when the ball's going to come.
Right.
But he doesn't want to embrace that role. Now, I'm not mad at the ego of the player, but I feel like your time has run its course if that's what you don't want to do here. Because either you're going to get rid of Jimmy or you're going to get rid of Tyler. And the only thing that you would choose maybe Tyler is because of Jimmy age. But if Jimmy was the same age as Tyler and they had the same game at this point and respect the size, Oh, you would get rid of time in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jimmy impacts winning. He's a head case, but he impacts winning on both sides.
Yeah. So, in a case that they don't make a trade and they have no other choice to bring back everybody, because I don't think re-signing Caleb Martin without a big trade is realistic at this point.
No.
Kevin Love and Thomas Bryant, all they both got player options, so they most likely gonna be on the team next year. Rozier, Duncan Robinson, still under contract. So if that's the case, what is the ceiling for this team next year if they run it back again?
Fully healthy, I say second round. And the reason why I say that, because every team that's in the playoffs still has the room to grow.
Yeah.
And then you look at a Milwaukee that essentially got hurt. They're going to be back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Joel hasn't improved that he can stay healthy.
That boy
You got to stay
Maxie
in
a
the 7
problem.
game series.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to get on Maxie because that Maxie going to haunt me for
Oh
years until you
yeah.
retire.
Yeah.
But you got to assume they'll be back. So that's why if I'm Pat, I can't run the same team back because that Rozier and Hero backcourt is not going to work. They both need the ball. And that's not even counting Jimmy. And let's just say Bam improves, which it should over the summer playing for the Olympics. Oh, we got to run plays for him too. So somebody got to be willing to sacrifice. And if they're not, you're going to have the same issues this past year.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is Eric Spoelstra, Bam, this summer in the Olympics, just go around whispering "he culture." That's all you got to
You
do.
got to.
Got to.
You got to.
Gotta lure somebody in.
I need Bam to call Donovan Mitchell. They're good friends.
Definitely. Bam need to call
That was
all
all my
his
problem.
Bam need to call all his friends at this point. Man, friends, he got KD, Dame. Shoot,
Yeah.
that's why he the one person you can't let go. But you know, speaking of whispering and all of that, I don't know if you saw it, but this man Paul Pierce out here wilding. I know Skip brought him in on Undisputed to bring up ratings. Me personally, I stopped. Like I tried to give it a chance when they first came out with Richard Sherman and
Same.
everybody, but it just hasn't hit the same for me. Neither has
Mhm.
First Take, to be honest. But uh, this man Paul Pierce get on air, drop the N word, man. Is there ever gonna be a day where this man just relax?
Paul Pierce has went downhill since he had the. He said he had a better career between him and Dwayne Wade,
Oh yeah,
and ever since then he went downhill.
I ain't gonna lie.
He,
It's not even biased at this point. Like I respect Paul Pierce is cold. Like Paul Pierce had game though. Like man could
yeah,
go get buckets.
the truth.
This man was not better than D Wade, bro.
Oh no, no.
In no universe. I'm sorry.
Hey, pound for pound, it's not happening.
I was about to say, and if any Celtics fan want to debate, just think about it this way: y'all would have traded D Wade for Paul Pierce. Y'all would have had more chips.
Facts.
So, just that's how I'm. Did you get a chance to catch any WNBA action this weekend?
I caught a little bit. I'm seeing that they're treating rookies how they're supposed to be treated. Um,
Shout out to Caitlin Clark.
Shout out to Caitlin. She's gonna be, superstar on
Yeah.
one day if she's not already. But I'm liking where the women's game is going.
Oh yeah.
Like it's growing um, attendance, um, viewership, and then just the overall product of the game. You could tell that it's going somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful to see. You got Kim Kardashian, Lotto, all the celebrities showing up to the game, showing their support. So I'm really hoping like they can get the fullest of bags that they can this season. One thing
Shout
that
out to my boy Bam. I saw you out there in Vegas, boy.
that boy turned, but one thing I'm gonna say that stood out to me this past weekend, like obviously everybody thought the Fever won the draft, drafting Caitlin Clark #1 overall. But the LA Sparks, for years to come, they're gonna be a problem. If not right
Yeah,
now. Cameron
yeah.
Brink, Rakia Jackson, like,
Mm,
I like that game versus the Aces. Unfortunately
yeah.
they didn't get the W, but uh I like what I saw and I like their future most definitely.
I'm still kind of mad they took the WNBA team from us.
Oh
So
yeah,
we got to catch the game. I mean, we got to go out of state to do it.
definitely.
We got to catch the game.
No disrespect. Atlanta Dream is the closest. Nah. But
Nah,
uh but yeah,
we
nah.
used to have the Miami Soul. We used to sold down.
Hopefully
We look
they
too young for that.
I know. Hopefully they was talking about the expansion, so hopefully we can get a team back.
Hopefully, I know they got supposed to have one in Golden State and one in Toronto in 2 years. Which I know that one in Toronto will be crazy.
Oh yeah,
Because the fans up there, they really show up and show out for their teams. So that's gonna be a big home court advantage for them.
man.
The expansion team they have up there.
I'm gonna say it right now. We need to get a team ASAP because there's two people in college right now that Miami could use: Juju or Malaysia Fulwali. Bruh, you talk about Kyrie?
Yeah,
She it, bruh.
I seen it.
Bruh, she
I
it.
seen it.
I ain't even gonna lie. But man,
Baby, that's the original Kyrie.
oh yeah. But man, I appreciate you coming on the pod today. We're gonna try to do
Love.
this every week. We got a game to catch. So on that note, I'm your host, Ron the Don. It's been a pleasure. My boy, my co-host, Ty. It's been a pleasure, and we out.
See ya.